Hey everyone, welcome to Old Iron Garage and thank you for tuning in. So today I'm out here again in my jungle of a backyard that is waiting on this mower deck to get finished so I can cut grass. And I'm going to be obviously working on the mower deck, the Bolens 38-inch cut tube frame mower deck. It is sprinkling and I don't care. I need to get this done. So it's taken too long because the further I got into the project, the more I decided to do, and sometimes I don't know when to quit. Now I've had my hands on literally every little single part and piece, fixing something or improving something. Anyways, let's dive in. I might see about maybe moving you guys a little bit closer. Just a hair. All right, does that look good to you guys? Let me know. Okay, so let's see. First thing I'm gonna do is, you know what? Let's do the water hose hookup first. Let's get that installed. Made another trip to the hardware store today for another bag of hardware. And I'm hoping this will be a good fit, this piece here. It was like a little wavy, thin spring washer thing that's supposed to put tension on this to make it tight. And it is broken, and I don't have another, so I tried to find a washer that's just going to be a good fit as is, and it's not going to be a good fit as is. It is a little too thick. Darn. Let me remedy that. I will be right back. Yeah, let me remedy that. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So what I did was I just put it in a bench vise and I ground a little bit out of each side to clearance for the cotter pin. It's just a little bit too thick. But that spring washer thing was just worn out and broken, so couldn't really use that. This would have been too, I had test fitted it with this in there and it was just too loose and sloppy. So like, supposed to be a little bit loose so you can turn it to thread it onto the end of the hose, but it was too loose and sloppy. I did not like it, so I had to find something else. So anyways, yeah, let me bend the ends of this cotter pin around. There it is. Actually ended up being about perfect. It's a little bit snug, but loose enough that you can turn it. It's just how I wanted it. There's no excess amount of play. So now we're going to do the blades, the mower blades. So mower blades for I guess these Bolens tube frame mower decks are not something that's readily available. You can buy them. I found two sources online. One of them, the price was pretty high. I mean, as far as for a part that is obsolete, no longer available, I mean, I would say it was not unreasonable. It's just more than I wanted to pay. And the other one was more reasonable, but money's tight, so I decided that I was going to paint these blades as well to help with protecting from corrosion. So that's why these blades are painted. Yes, the I put that on the wrong way. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the paint, yes, will wear off as I cut grass with it. But every year when they come off to get sharpened and balanced, they can also get repainted. So just copy and paste for these other two. I see a spot that did not get painted, so and it's a spot that I am highly concerned about rusting and rusting through. It is exactly in the area where I was repairing, so I may just hit that with some paint before I flip it back over. A heavy dose of paint. It's on the bottom side. Doesn't matter if it's pretty. Doesn't matter if it runs. The bottom side, the paint job is full of runs everywhere because, well, I really coated it good. I wanted it that way because the paint was there for rust protection. It was not there for looks. I'm going to check these all with a 3/8 drive ratchet. Just going to give them each a little snugging. This impact is a hex drive impact. It's like an impact driver. It's not really like a true impact in the sense of, like, you know, like it's not something that you would change lug nuts or loosen the lug nuts with on your car. So it doesn't have the same power output. Some stuff it's good enough for, and it doesn't need additional torquing. But some stuff, sorry about that, air compressor kicked in. Some stuff, not so much, not good enough for it. So, yeah. Now, one more thing, I believe, before flipping it back upright. Well, before I do a little touch-up paint. You know what? It'd be a lot easier and go a lot faster if I just do this, rather than trying to find them in the bag. Some of these I'm just going to go ahead and throw right back into the bag immediately to get them out of my way. I don't need any of these bolts here or the R-clips. Or these bigger nuts, the 5/16 nuts. I don't need any of those. Okay, I've got enough stuff out of my way, but I'm going to start looking for the stuff that I do need. You know what? I don't know why I'm doing this on camera. I'm going to pause. All right, I'm back. So, found all the hardware I needed, and I've got them all. I've got all the washers on. I've got all the nuts on loosely. Now I'm just going to go around and tighten them all up. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go ahead and touch up that one spot with paint. Just to get it covered real good to protect it from rusting. I'm just going to get in like really close there, right on that spot, and just really blast it. There we go. Got a nice little puddle in there. Alright, now I'm going to flip this thing over. I'm going to do that off camera so as not to make this video any longer than it has to be, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I am back. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. There we go. Time to move on to the next stage, which will be putting the various hangers on the deck, bolting them on. And you can see I have them as well as the various hardware needed set in place as to save some time. As I am racing the weather, it is sprinkling, threatening to pour rain, and I hear thunder in the distance. So yeah, let's move on. So I didn't notice this until I was preparing to paint the deck, the shell, the bottom side of it, but there is cracking along the bolt, from the bolt holes here, from these front hangers, and these decks are known for that. So I've seen that on multiple of them. So, and sometimes it does it in the rear as well, but this one's not cracking in the rear at this time. But so I was going to make a couple of steel plates to bolt onto the bottom there to help brace it, and it would have been ideal to weld them on, but I didn't notice it till I was done with the welding and ready for paint. I decided to go ahead and make the plates, but I decided to go ahead with painting it that day and then just bolting them on, and then the next time I have it off and I'm cleaning out the deck and I'm going to do some touch-up paint, add another layer of paint, I will weld them on then. I'll grind off the paint, weld them on, and then I'll repaint the bottom side of the deck. So yeah, moving on, I was going to make the plates, the steel plates, and when pulling parts from another identical mower deck that I have, I found that somebody else had the same problem and had the same solution. So I just took their plates. It was so kind of them to make these plates for me. They were pretty well rusted. As you can see, this one is awful pitted, but I cleaned them up real good, took the rust off, and gave them a very healthy dose of gloss black spray paint to kind of slow down the rust. I mean, I just until the paint was just running off of them. So yeah, and then I let them dry all night. So let's get these and the hanger brackets on. As you can see, one is a rectangle and one is a rectangle minus a corner. That's because that corner would have interfered with the mower deck. So they notched that out. They notched that off of there, cut it off of there. It's just too close to the mower deck to keep that corner. It would have interfered. So let's get these on. So I'm going to start up here. Doesn't really matter which way this one goes on, it just needs to go on. Come on. Oh, get in there. Man, I may actually have to drill these holes a little bit bigger. I didn't really... Yeah, looks like they just need reamed out. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and ream these holes out, and I will be right back. Alright, done with that. Nothing a 5/16 drill bit couldn't handle. These were a 5/16 hole, but I neglected to clean the rust scale out of the holes. And then, you know, there was a healthy dose of paint on top of that. But now, slides through perfectly. Now I just have to get them to line up perfectly. There we go. Come on. I built this stand for servicing push mowers, not mower decks. And it shows. This was not ideal. I should have made something to screw on top of here that would have made it easier to work on a mower deck, but I didn't. And I wish I would have thought about it. Didn't do it. Okay. Now I need a 1/2 inch drive wrench and 1/2 inch drive socket, and let's go with let's use the impact. The impact will get them tight enough. If if I can get it on there. Go. One hanger down. 3 more to go. It wasn't too brutal. There we go. Easier access. Drop through the holes. Perfect. And yeah, it goes on like that. Repeat the same process. Now, for the rear will hopefully, or it should be a little bit easier due to the fact that there's no plates to put on the bottom. I will make or use plates on the bottom at a later time. Next time I have this thing flipped over to service and paint it, like at the end of a cutting season. How do I want to... There we go, that should do it. That should give me access for the hardware. Carriage bolts. I went ahead and put in longer bolts to accommodate the steel plates that I'm going to add later on. Well, now, what in the... Oh, the mower blade in my way. There we go. I was like, what is going on? What is this? I think there should be a bolt there. I just realized I'm going to need a deep well socket. For these carriage bolts, I got the shortest ones that this hardware store had, but they're a little bit too long. It's fine. I could have trimmed them shorter, but just decided not to fuss with it. That'll give it a point to start rusting anyways, so. So I am going to take, I'm going to go find a deep well socket, and I will be right back. I'm back. Got a deep well socket, and I'm going to need an extension here. This one's a little longer than I need, but it is what I had out here. So I don't need the wrench. Being carriage bolts, they hold themselves in place. Alrighty, let's just have to hold them down. All right. What the heck? Yeah, I mean, that's right. I already knew it was. It's a ½ inch. I don't get it. What's going on here? It's literally just slipping around the nut, but I have the same exact nut here. It's the right size. It's turning it now. I don't understand. Whatever. I don't have time to mess around. I'm just going to tighten them with a wrench, I guess. Come on. Not fun. Okay, so new idea. I'm just gonna move over to this one and at least get this one started before I get stressed out and start getting upset. You know what? This would be easier if I'd scoot this back. There we go. Get out of there. little further. There we go. Now we're cooking with oil. So much fun. Mower decks are so much fun. I keep trying to convince myself that is true. It was one of my least favorite Bolens items to work on. I'm sure there's worse, but I genuinely do not enjoy these. Okay. Trying to think here. I am now going to scoot this to where I can stand it up and tighten them manually with my wrench. Better get the socket out of here. More. And more on this side. Over. And boom. Now we can stand it up. I do need to walk it forward though, so the weight isn't all the way off to one side of the stand and have it tip over and everything fall. That'd just be great. Spend all this time painting this thing up and it just falls right on the ground. It's all scratched and scuffed up. Dented. Oh, no, you don't. Screw you. Come on. Let's just get this over with. All right, that's as tight as I can get that one, unfortunately. Just due to limitation of working space. that one's tight. One more. One more. Hope you guys are enjoying this more than I am. This is just unpleasant working on this thing. All right. All right. Let's move on from that. So, now we have a, you know what? We have this so we can install, and it would appear that I forgot to buy new cotter pins. I have a couple in the garage. They're a little bit long, but I'm going to go trim those down, and we're going to use those. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So, change of plans. I'm going to wait to put that on, and I will go to the hardware store tomorrow morning and get a couple of cotter pins and a couple of washers, new ones. And it's going to cost me like $1 something. And I will put them on then. Or I will put that part on then. So now we're going to jump ahead, put the drive shaft back on. Drive shaft, PTO shaft, whatever you want to call it. I have a few tools here to help me out with that. Oops. Gently lay those down so as not to scratch the paint badly. I do have a like a spring pin or whatever you call that, the rolled pin. This little doodad to put in to hold it in place. Though honestly, it would probably not come off on its own. But either way, we're going to do it right. Oh, wow. Hammer not needed. At least not for putting it on. Slid right on. So we're going to just go right to putting the pin in. I can feel it just poke out the other side, and it's about even on both sides. And that is on. That went pretty painlessly. About time something went my way. Alrighty. These other tools, not needed. And now, we're going to move on to putting on guide wheels. Now, in a previous video, if you've watched it, you will see I made a modification here. And if you look closely as I showed it, you will have seen that modification. I made them greasable. So, if you want to know how I did that and how the cotter pin being in the way does not really affect it negatively, go watch that video. And also, a friend, another YouTuber, cameraman from Garden Tractor Boy, another great YouTube channel. In chatting with him, he actually stated something that I didn't even think about. Grease coming out of the cotter pin hole will help to keep the cotter pin from ever getting rusted in place. But look at how nicely these turn. Oop, about lost it. And on the other end, I'm using linch pins to keep them in place. If you don't know what a linch pin is, you ever go to use one, you got to be careful because it might snap your fingers. So anyways, let's go ahead and get these on. Trying to remember, there's 3 different holes you can put these in. I'm looking at them to see which ones. I'm thinking it was these holes here. But I can always adjust them later on. So I'm just going to get them put on. Those turn so nice. Now that they are greasable. If I want to grease them, I do not have to take the guide wheel off of the shaft to grease it. And yeah. All right, those are in. There is one thing left that I need to do. So there's one thing that I did that is another thing that wasn't necessary, but it's just something to help keep this thing a little bit nicer, a little bit longer. I noticed that the little ID tag that goes here was in very nice shape, still very readable. It was still attached. That was great, but it was still readable too. It was in very nice shape for its age. It had a little corrosion. It was a little dirty. I cleaned it up, and I actually clear coated it. See if I can get to where you can see the shine. There, you can kind of see the shine, the reflection off of it, to help to slow down the corrosion. There's a little bit of corrosion on there. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of slow that down, so I clear coated it. And I'm going to pop rivet, pop rivet it on. I clear coated it back side and front side, both. Yeah, I'm going to do it like that so I can push down. And these pop rivets are not wanting to go through that other hole. So I'm going to have to get a screw gun and a drill bit and ream those out. And I will be right back with that. All right. Got the screw gun, and I got the correct size drill bit. Now let's make those holes just a little bit bigger. Let's see if the pop rivets come on. Fighting with my pocket. My pocket did not want to give it back. They fit. So let's go ahead and get these on now. I don't want to have these drop out here because I don't want to puncture a tire. And that is on. All right. I don't really have anything left to do on this right now except get that one linkage put on, which will not be today. and get it back on the tractor, which will not be today. That'll be a tomorrow thing if it's not raining. It's late in the day and it's fixing to rain, and I still have 2 more things to do on that tractor: starter gear and carburetor. I still have to address those 2 issues, so that's not going to be a today thing. Well, let's get you down here, and oh no, I was wrong. I almost made a boo-boo. It would have ran for a while, but because I assembled this gearbox with plenty of grease, and there's grease in the spindle bearings, so it would have ran for a little while. It may have even finished cutting the yard once. That might be wishful thinking, but still have to put gear oil in the gearbox and grease the spindles. So let's start with greasing the spindles. Now, I put a fresh tube of Providence brand from Rural King. That is the Rural King Stores brand. Red and Tacky grease in here. Red and Tacky grease is what I've decided to go with. Became highly recommended by others, as well as the internet, the interweb, Google. I'm gonna do, I know it's got a good sized cavity in there to fill. I'm gonna start with 10 pumps. I'm gonna take a look. Nope, not coming out yet. I didn't figure it would be, but I figured that'd be a good starting point. 10 pumps. So I'm going to count the pumps, and I'm going to put the same amount on each one. There's 15. Don't see any grease yet. How many pumps do you think it's going to take until I see it squish out? I'm going to do 5 at a time. So, going by intervals of 5, pause the video and drop a comment on how many pumps you think it'll take. That's 20 pumps, and I could hear it squish out, or I could hear it kind of, like the spindle assembly kind of tighten up, and I could see a little bit of grease squish out the top, but I do not yet see, I just barely see any coming out the bottom. So I'm going to do like 2 more pumps. Add another pump. This would make 23 pumps. I'm going to have a grease mess to wipe off of this thing. This red and tacky stuff, it really is tacky. There we go. I'm seeing it come out the bottom. I'm going to do another pump. I'd rather have a little bit extra come out and ensure, and one more. That'll do 25 pumps. I'd rather be sure that it is thoroughly greased, that all the air is pushed out, and maybe even a little bit of the original grease in the bearings pushed out. That's 25 pumps in total. A mess can be cleaned up, but I want these things to be well greased. Maybe I should have got 2 tubes. Nah, 1 will be enough. There's 5. It's 25. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the last one off camera. I don't even know why I did 2 on camera. 1 should suffice. I actually don't see any grease coming out of the bottom yet on this one. So I'm going to do, well, I'll finish it off camera and I'll bring you guys back for the gearbox. I'm back. Yeah. It was a boom. Where was I? Yes, I finished greasing the spindles and I got the grease mess cleaned up. I also went ahead and greased the U-joint in the PTO drive shaft, and now I'm ready for gear oil. I like to use 85-140 in my old equipment because a lot of it leaks. This should not be leaking, but I mean, it's going to be, that gearbox is going to get pretty toasty anyways, as they generally do. It's going to get pretty warm, so this will thin right out once it does. But this, when it's cold and you first fire up that PTO, first engage that PTO, before, you know, it has, the gears have time to fling oil everywhere, this will cling better anyways. So, I mean, it's not like this is going to get used in the wintertime. In the wintertime, I would not be using this. But anyways, yeah, this is the Providence brand, the store brand from Rural King, my preferred home and farm store. I have no affiliation with them. I do not have a sponsorship from them or anything. I just really love that store. I really love the automotive Providence products. It's just my honest opinion. That opinion is not bought. It's just my honest opinion. It's a great product at a value price. So I have the you know what? I don't know why I don't move you guys around to the backside so you can see what I'm actually doing from that side. One moment. All right, I brought you around to the other side, and I also lowered the camera, and I'm going to be filling here where the breather goes in, and I have the fill hole here, which is where it should be filled to, out. And you know what? I'd like to maybe overfill it just a little bit. So I'm going to find a little block of wood or something to kind of put underneath there. Here's a block of wood. It's a little bigger than what I wanted, but it'll be all right. Hey, get off of there. It's got those little roly-poly bugs on it. Oh, gonna pick this up. If I can do so without tipping. I'm gonna lose my gear oil. That's more than I would like it to be tipped, but whatever. Hang on a second. No, don't do that. Oh, whatever. Anyway, I'd rather be a little overfilled. When I see it starting to get close to the bottom of this hole, I'm going to stop so it doesn't run out. This may take a little bit of time, but yeah, this thicker gear oil is, I mean, it's not exactly like honey or anything, but it's not real thin. Why is it already running out? There's no way it's already filled. That can't be already filled. I'm going to get a little flashlight and take a peek in there. One moment. Looking in there, it appears that it is actually already filled all the way. I guess I was just squeezing the bottle harder than I thought, pouring it faster than I thought, but anywho's, she's full, and I did not spill a single drop. It literally stopped right at the point of starting to drip out of the hole. Literally right at that point. I'm going to get these in the holes because, I mean, it could start raining at any moment. Literally any second now it could start raining. I don't want any water in there. I'd be mighty upset if that happened. But yeah. And I will tighten them once I get the block of wood out from under here, and I am sure that this thing is good and steady and not gonna slide off. There we go. It is good now. One thing that I always try to inform people about on these on this antique equipment: don't use synthetic oils. Now, that actually only applies to into some cases, but just as a general, rule of thumb, as a safety precaution, just don't use them. They didn't have synthetic oils when they built this equipment, this machinery. So it certainly is necessary. In some cases, sure, maybe it's beneficial. But the thing is, in some cases, you will have soft yellow metals in the gearbox or whatever you're filling. Sometimes you will have soft yellow metals that do not like synthetic oil. For example, the transaxle of a gear-driven Bolens tube frame garden tractor. Do not use synthetic oil. It's got that, well, that has some soft yellow metals in there, like what, bronze? So, and then there's bushings that are bronze, and then also, for example, Troy-Bilt walk behind tillers like the horse and the pony. Same story there. Don't use synthetic oils. Make sure what you are using is compliant with the manufacturer's recommendations as far as like as far as like well, this here is GL5 oil. The API service rating, it says GL5. So anyways, I believe that is correct for this application. Anyways, that's all I got for this thing. The next time you guys will see this, it will be on the tractor. I'm not going to show you guys the struggle of me putting it on the tractor. I may actually get a hand with that, just because it's easier. I'm trying to put this cap on. I'll do it in a bit. I might get a hand with that, just because it's easier to have help getting it back on the tractor, especially now that it's painted and I don't want it all scratched up before I actually start cutting for the first time. I want it to at least look decent until then. But I'm going to give you guys a quick walk around, clean up my tools and give you a quick walk around. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll wrap it up. Alright folks, here it is. Aside from needing that linkage installed after I get a couple of washers and a couple of cotter pins, it is ready to go back on the tractor and back into service. But anyways, let's get a little closer and do a little walk around. Would have looked a little bit nicer if I'd have just given it a little bit of a wipe down with some WD-40 or something to really make it shine, but not necessary. First time I cut with this thing, it's gonna get dirty. Look at that. Oh, smooth. That is nice. I've been thinking about that mod for some time now, and I am so glad that I took the time to do it. And I did, as you can see, I did go with bigger washers there to help with the play. The play you see there is actually the shaft, not the guide wheel. There's like no play, but still turns very nicely. And I have a smaller washer in back there to shim it, so it is just right. But new cotter pins, new washers. Yep. Man, that thing looks good. The only thing I need yet is a reproduction decal here. And this thing will be nice. Let's get the underside a little bit. A little peek. Look at that. Alrighty. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for this video as well as this project. Thank the Lord. I was ready to be done with this. I enjoyed the painting. That's about all I really enjoyed. I enjoyed working on the gearbox and a few other little things, but yeah. Oh, there is, I forgot to mention, there is something else that's going to be addressed the next time I have this thing off and I'm ready to do a service after a year of cutting. Some wallered out holes. Any hole that's wallered out at all, or I believe one of these little stubs here that this goes on is also a bit worn. Anything that is badly worn or worn at all is going to get welded and then ground or drilled to how it was when it was new. But yeah, that wraps up this project as well as this video. I hope you enjoyed this video as well as this this project, this video series. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, more projects like this, please drop a comment. Let me know. Also drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And anything you think I should have done differently in this video or in this project in general. If you learned something new, or if you like something I did, maybe a modification or something, or whatever, drop a comment. Let me know. If you want to see more videos like the ones on this channel in the future, if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next one. Later.